Yeah, this is the last one. So the state representative serves the 150-member Texas House of Representatives. The duties of the legislature include consideration of proposed laws and resolutions, consideration of proposed constitutional amendments for submission to the voters, and appropriation of all funds for the operation of state government. And that we currently have Cecil Bell and Kelly McDonald.
All right, thank you. Kelly, we will start with you. You're first on my list, so we will do a 2-minute opening statement. And then Cecil Bell, we will move on there and then start the questions.
Okay. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with us tonight. We really appreciate your time. My name is Kelly McDonald, and I am applying for the job to be your next state representative for House District 3. I know so many of you, but I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, just in case there's some people that I haven't had a chance to meet yet. I want to tell you where I came from. I came from I was born and raised in Texas, small town, about 1,000 people, named Quitman. My dad was the chief of police. My mom was a school nurse, and it was my brother and I, my mom and dad. And when my brother and I weren't in school, we spent a lot of time at our church youth group. So we just grew up with those small town values and just, you know, American values. And just fast forward, I met my husband, John. We've been married for 28 years now. We've raised 3 great kids that have been through elementary school right here at Bear Branch Elementary all the way through Magnolia High School. And 2 of the 3 have graduated from college and are in the work world, and my son is in his last semester, so we are almost to the finish line there. I want to tell you about my leadership here in Magnolia over the last 20 years. And I'm not telling you to brag about anything, but I think you should know that leadership is so important in this job. I've been your Magnolia ISD school board member for the last 5.5 years, protecting the kids in the school, making sure that they had everything that they need, protecting our teachers. I am currently your Montgomery County Housing Authority Commissioner, and so I oversee to make sure our veterans and our elderly and our disabled have good housing. I'm an active member of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a board member there. I'm the president of the Magnolia Rotary Club here, and I am a commissioner for the Montgomery County Veterans Memorial Park. I am a board member for Habitat for Humanity, and I do a lot of work for them. And I was just chosen one of 44 people in the leadership Montgomery County.
Thank you.
Looking forward to talking with y'all tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. First thing I want to do is thank you for being here. You could have chosen to be anywhere, but you're here tonight. I am your state representative, Cecil Bell Jr. It is my distinct honor and privilege to be able to say that to you. A little bit about me, if you don't know. 6th generation Texan. We moved here in '93, married to my high school sweetheart. We have 2 sons, both graduated from Magnolia ISD. They started here, they graduated here. The time that they were there, I was on the school board. I spent about 8.5 years on the school board. And ultimately, when I was elected to this position, I finished the budget and resigned to be able to be ready for this task that I'm running in now, working in now. The things that I think led up to that are worthy of talking about, I served on the interim planning committee to be certain that we had schools built when we needed to have schools built. So that's a leadership type position that is very important when you think about it, because we didn't build a bunch of schools that weren't ready to be opened when we opened them. We didn't spend your tax dollars on portable buildings. We did things we were supposed to do. Also was a founder member of the Magnolia Education Foundation, was president there. I currently serve as the chairman of Precinct 5's T. Cole Training Facility. The constable there, Constable Jones, has that facility in place, which I helped put in place with the Constable Hill. It allows us to keep our officers here, so they're not traveling to other places to be able to get the education they need. I am a business owner. I started my first business at the age of 21, still in business today, building water and wastewater treatment plants. Employ a couple hundred people, most of them that I've worked with for the last 30 years since, well, maybe longer than that. I was still a kid when we all started working together. So I think it is very important that we keep experience. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and Cecil, we will start with the questions at your end, and then Kelly, you will answer the same question. So to start us off, if elected, or in your case, re-elected, what would be your first action?
So as you mentioned, because I do hold the role, my first action would be to continue making certain that your needs are met. Because, you know, my phone is on all the time. I am constantly around the district and making certain that whatever it is that we need to be working on, we're able to work on. COVID created a little bit of a challenge in 20. Special sessions created a big challenge in 21. So I wasn't able to be home doing the things I would have liked to have been done because I was fulfilling the constitutional oath of office and my duty to you based on the vote that you cast that sent me there. So the first things I would do would be to continue to do the things that we're doing, and that is reaching out, meeting with our different agencies around the district, meeting with you as citizens, meeting with our precinct chairs, just trying to make certain that you shape the legislative agenda. Legislative agendas are not supposed to be created by bureaucrats. They're supposed to be created by you. We're a self-governed population. That is the design intent of our founding fathers. And you can always count on me to be working for you. That is the reason it works. If we're not doing that, then the process will not work. And so I would ask your vote in allowing me to continue to be your state representative. It's an humble honor. And I would just tell you the same thing I've always said, you know, from 4 o'clock in the morning or earlier if you need me to whenever the last task is done, whether that's working for you or working at construction or whatever it is, I'm ready to do the job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for the last 7 months or so, I have just been pretending I already have the job, and so the job of a state representative is to meet with you, to meet with the commissioners, to meet with the police officers, the constable, to meet with business owners, to meet with the churches, and find out what your needs are, because that's the only job of a state representative, is to be in touch with the people and then vote conservatively as you would have us do. So my first priority after meeting with all of you so far is almost everyone is talking about, please help us eliminate, lower and eliminate our property tax. I've already been to Austin to meet with the Texas Public Policy Foundation to find the way forward with that. But that is my #1 first job, is to get moving on that, because we need property tax relief. Next is to make sure we secure the border. Our officers on the border need support from us to be able to arrest, detain, and deport and actually get paid. They're not even getting paid right now, and that is completely unacceptable. I will protect our Second Amendment. I will protect the unborn, and I will push for term limits, because I think our founding fathers believe that that's the way it should be. I'm committed to lead, and I have a work ethic that won't stop, so that's what I'll be doing first thing.
All right, thank you. And sticking with you, Kelly, to go back. So what are the top challenges you feel residents are facing in District 3, and how do you plan to address those if elected?
Thank you. So again, your #1 thing that I've been hearing over and over is you've got to have some help with the property tax. You know, I was talking to one of the constables, and he was saying, you know, I've paid my house off, but every single month I'm saving money to the side, because if I can't pay, even though my house is paid off, if I can't pay my property tax, I'll lose my home. It shouldn't be that way. That is the #1 project that we have to do. It has to get done on this legislative session. Also, I believe that we need to keep protecting our Second Amendment. Commissioner Riley, I appreciate the sanctuary that we have for our Second Amendment, and we will continue to fight for it. I have the highest rating of the NRA for a non-incumbent. Maybe it came from being my dad, a policeman several years, but I believe that that is our fundamental right for our Second Amendment. Protecting the unborn, I know how important that is. The heartbeat bill, we are so lucky to have passed that in the last legislative session, and we are all over the news. I know you've seen it. We have to protect that. That is the very next priority. I will be committed to having office hours all over the county because I believe that you need to see your representative. You know, in talking with several of you, that hasn't been the case, but I will make sure that that's the case in the future because you're the only person important here.
Thank you. Same question to you.
Thank you. So the number one priority I think that's facing all of us is property tax. It's the reason that I've filed each and every session and I've worked hard to bring it to the forefront that we need to cap all real property, not just residential at 5%. We also need to do several things that can happen right this second. It's a challenge, and we can talk as long as you want to about why it's a challenge. But some of the things that we need to do that we can get done right now, chief appraiser should be an elected position, not an appointed position. If they're going to be that influential in your lives, then you should have the ability to vote for them and to elect them. One of the other sides that is very, very important on that same topic is we need to figure out how to prioritize money to put it in the right places to reduce our local property tax. It's the reason that I filed a bill that was signed on by every single Republican in the House and filed it in the special sessions because that's when we had the money available to reduce to take half of the surplus budget and use it to buy down your local property tax. Those are the kinds of things that we need to do right now. The border is indeed a huge concern. It's the reason that I led the charge in appropriating right at $3 billion. I appropriated money when I got here. There wasn't any money being appropriated. We started appropriating $800 million. We have 1,100 troopers on the border. Now we've added 6,000 troops that are National Guard troops, Air National Guard, and State Guard, and they are being paid, by the way, out of that money. So those are priorities.
All right, thank you. And our last question for the night, Cecil, you can start us off. So what are your top education priorities at the state level, particularly in light of recent learning loss that so many of our students are facing?
So I think our top priorities on education have to be to figure out how to get our kids back where they belong. When the schools sent kids home and weren't able to bring them into the classes, it created a gap. We have distance learning that has been brought in. We passed bills to make sure that we put the dollars in place to support our current educators and our current school districts to bring those kids into special classes so they would be able to be brought up to the standard that they're supposed to be at. Those dollars need to continue to be spent on our kids. Some of the other things we need to do, we don't need to be sitting back and waiting to figure out when those kids who want to go to college are going to be able to afford that. We need to figure out how to do that. So some of the things that we have done, I have done, is carried bills to make certain that those young men and women who are in our Texas Military Department are able to get not just college credit, but to get a college degree based on the training that they're required to receive to respond to domestic operations inside the state of Texas. So I think those are the kinds of things that we need to be focused on. Career technology is huge. I carried House Bill 842. If any of your kids currently are in a program where they can graduate as an LVN, an EMT, a veterinarian technician, or any of those, that came from a bill I carried that works today to make sure that our kids have those opportunities available to them. We very much need to continue to prioritize education. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think public education, the top 4 things that need to be done, we have to make sure that our schools have the quality of education that we need. It has to have transparency, that's fiscal transparency, and also telling parents what their kids are learning. I think that is key. Number 3, I think that school districts all over the state of Texas should be respectful to the parents and make sure that they have a seat at the table. I know for a fact Magnolia ISD is very respectful of our parents, but that isn't the case all over Texas. And number 4, I think we have to support our teachers. You know, our teachers are just overworked. They've had a horrible couple of years, you know, trying to pivot, put everything online, teach to the test for standardized testing, and they're just so bogged down. They're not paid enough. I think all of those things have to change for teachers. You know, I was on LinkedIn and I saw a teacher that I really love and respect post something that of skills that a teacher has that they can go to another job, and I just felt like it was a stab to the heart, because we have got to take care of our teachers and make sure that they want to continue teaching our kids and making it a good environment for them. So I think that those 4 things are just crucial in public education going forward. Thank you.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.